everybody, welcome back to the Bridge Gap guitar training videos. This is lesson number 3. And so now we're gonna get our hands on the instrument. We're actually gonna make some sounds with the instrument, but we need to talk about something that's very important. And that's how you hold your guitar. And by that, I mean your posture, where the guitar sits, your hand position. All of these things are going to affect how you play from this point forward. You want to be sitting in a place where your back can be straight. Because if you're slumped over or the guitar is way out here, you're going to hurt your wrist. You want to be able to sit up straight so the guitar can set up. And there's 2 ways people kind of hold the guitar. The first one is the most common, and probably 99% of you would start out with this way. I have a slight variation of it, and I'll show you that as well. But typically, with your back straight, I'm gonna back up so you can see me. Having your guitar, this curve right here, sitting on your right leg if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you flip the guitar over, it would be the opposite. You would sit it on your left leg. So you want the guitar close to your body. So you can put your arm here, kind of wrapping it around a little bit, resting it here on the corner. Some guitars have kind of a rounded corner to help that. A lot of them don't, and that's okay. But so your guitar, your neck is slightly turned up, your back is straight, and your arm, your elbow is bent, and it's just relaxed down to your side. So you can move your arm like this freely. All right, so the guitar is sitting on your leg, and then your arm is holding it kind of as an anchor, and then your arm can move freely at the elbow and also at the wrist, like this. And I'll let you see that from the side as I'm sitting straight up. You can see my hand, my wrist is slightly curled, not a lot, but a little bit. My thumb is behind the neck on the back side. That's where your strength comes from to chord, is that thumb's pressure in the opposite direction as your fingers. So you want your thumb back here on the back and your hands slightly bent. And then you can see me chord like this. See, my arm is free to move, and I'm not holding the guitar up with my left arm. My guitar is resting still, my arms holding it kind of close to my body, and I just put my hand up here and move it freely how I want to. That's how most people will hold the guitar. I do a little bit of variation, and if you're a classical guitar player, you kind of put your left leg in that same place and the guitar's tilted slightly upward. The reason I use this sometimes is because if I'm playing down here in the lower register, or if I'm finger picking, it makes it's a little bit more accessible for me. And reason 2 is when I sit it this way, I adjust my strap. So my strap comes to an end as it rests on my leg. And when I stand up and when I sit down, it's in the exact same position. It's my favorite way to practice. But like I said, it's okay to do it that way. If you do it, a lot of classical guitar players on their left leg will have a stool to kind of lift their leg up to keep your posture. The main thing, you want to keep the back straight. You want the guitar to be secure, so it's resting on something. It's not sliding around while you're playing and things like that. So that's really how you're holding your guitar. Now, when you're going to have your fretting hand, this hand that plays, you're going to want to be able to curl your fingers like this. So you don't really want to play on the pads of your fingers. You want to touch the fingertips to the strings when you're fretting them. And that lets them get out of the way of one another, and it's the proper way to do it. Now, there are some times when you use your pad of your finger when you're doing bar chords. We'll talk about that later, but for the most part, you want to have that thumb behind the neck, and the thumb will kind of slide up and down a bit as you're changing positions on the neck, but you want it behind there so that you can get that strength. And then you want your fingers curled at that first knuckle as much as possible. And whenever you touch the guitar, notice my arm is down by my side. It's relaxed. My elbow's not out like that. Sometimes you'll see me in my videos kind of show you. That's just to get close to the neck, not in proper position. You want your arm relaxed there and you want your neck stable. So you take your finger and you want to get as close to that metal fret as you can, because when you chord it out here, it can be out of tune slightly. And you're not trying to press down to touch the wood of the guitar. You only want to touch that string to the top of that metal fret. And once it's touching, remember, it's changed the distance between the bridge and the end point, and so that's changing the pitch. And so whenever you're holding your guitar, first position is like this. You have your kind of first finger over this first fret, second here, third here, fourth here. And this is kind of what we call the first position. A good thing to do when you start to practice is just take your pick and strum one note at a time very slowly and make a sound. Using each one of those 4 fingers. Maybe you want to start out on the bottom string if the top one's too tough to begin with, but you want to start getting used to the neck and feeling it like this. See how my fingers kind of stay close to the neck? I'm not picking them way up off the neck. So that's how you're holding your left hand. And your right hand, we showed you where you can strum like this. And we'll show you electric guitar. There'll be all kinds of genres of music we'll talk about. But that's the basics. You want it secure, not sliding around, keep your posture straight, and that'll save your wrist and your back and all that good stuff. You're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. But you wanna go slow when you're picking it. Get it right. Just be able to hear that string ring out. Be on your fingertip, just pushing it down. You don't have to muscle it really hard. If your guitar strings are so high up your neck, you can't push them down well, you probably need to try to make a change in your instrument. So, back straight, your guitar's resting, for most people, on your right leg, and your hands here for picking individual notes. And then when we learn chords, and the first chord that we'll learn later is going to be the E chord. You can see my thumb's back here, wrist is slightly bent, my back is straight, my guitar is up against my body, just like that. You're going to spend a lot of time practicing, and you will. I mean, if you're going to get better, you're going to spend some hours with it. It is really important to consider and help yourself. Holding the guitar properly, setting up straight, those kinds of things will only help you. So the last thing I want to talk quickly about is the pick. Okay, so in this hand, a lot of picks are kind of shaped like that. They have a triangular, they have a pointed edge, which is meant for this pointed edge to touch the strings. So, but you don't really want to hold your pick kind of like that. It'll get knocked out of your hand and loose. So one good way to think about it is if you're looking at this first knuckle and you place your pick on the side or just sitting like that, and then you're going to curl your finger kind of like this. So I'm going to let you see that pointy edge is going that way. There's my first knuckle, there's my thumb, and when I bring it to the guitar, now that's pointing toward me, and it kind of is, it has some wiggle room. It's not, you're not holding it so tight that it can't move. When you're playing acoustic and you're strumming, you actually kind of want a little bit of give. When we get into more individual notes and faster picking and things like that, a lot of times people like a stiffer pick, and we'll talk about all that. But just get any pick for now to start with, and be able to, put it on that finger pointing that way, and then you kind of you really curl your finger first, and then put your thumb down, because see how your thumb is? Your thumb's pointing that way and your sharp point's going that way. That kind of helps you to see it. If it's not perfect, that's okay. You want to be comfortable, but that's a good basic way to hold your pick. I'm going to introduce you to a concept that's very important. Slow is fast, and here's what I mean. If you try to go too fast when you're learning something, you will never learn good technique. It won't be clear. It won't be very, it won't sound good. And you'll try to go fast and you'll just never learn it. So what you need to do when you first learn something, slow way down. And so slow down so slow that you don't make a mistake. So, first put your finger on here, try it out. Until you can do that, try each finger. Don't go fast. You can go slow as you want, right? Try each finger. Once you can make that note, now go only as fast as you can do it perfect. Because here's the problem. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You don't want to practice mistakes. You want to practice the correct way. And that will increase the speed of your learning by a lot. That's a very important tip I wish I'd had when I first started playing. Okay, so don't stop now. The next video number 4, we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about rhythm, and we're going to talk about tone. You're going to learn the notes, and you're going to play your first 2 chords. So now that you have the technique, don't stop now. Keep going. You're actually going to make music in the next video. Can't wait to see you.